What's going on, guys? Kevin here from thesportsgeek.com, and in this video I'm going to go over my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL Week 10 picks. Alright, so before we move on to the Week 10 picks, let's do a recap of Week 9 like we do each week. On the left-hand side there, you can see I had some solid picks. We had QB Dak Prescott put up just under 24 points. Stephon Diggs put up 22 points. Jay Ajayi with 25. Jordy Nelson with 22, and a cheap tight end, Austin Hooper, with 13. And then I had quite a few duds as well. You can see on the right-hand side we have the bad picks. Dez Bryant only put up 2.9 points and ruined a lot of my lineups. Sam Bradford was close to the 300-yard bonus, but he only threw one touchdown and put up 16 points. Willie Snead with 6.6. Kyle Rudolph with just the touchdown and one catch for the touchdown there. Terrence Williams was a sleeper pick. He only put up 3.9 points. And the Steelers defense was my cheap value defense of the week. They put up 5 points, which isn't awful, but it's not great. So I included that in the bad picks as well. And also I give out email updates and picks Saturday or Sunday morning. Make sure you're signed up for those. If you're not already, click on the lineup tool link in the YouTube description below to make sure you get those emails. And then like I do each week, I like to give props to people who follow the videos and do well at either FanDuel or DraftKings. Top left there, we have Zach. He said he placed the highest he ever has in his DFS career. It was a free entry, so he only cashed out $15, but still a great win. So congrats, Zach. That's good for a free entry for sure. Jenny won $1,000. You can see the screenshot there. She placed third. It's her second season playing and following, and she finally won big. So congrats to Jenny. And then at the bottom there, we have Chris. He said he posted career high in points earned and money won. You can see his screenshot. He came first, won $20. So that's pretty good there, and congrats to all three of you guys. Congrats to everyone else who emailed me and didn't get up here, and if you didn't win in Week 9, hopefully Week 10 is your week. All right, so moving on to my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL Week 10 picks. Starting off with a quarterback and wide receiver stack, we got Ben Roethlisberger from the Steelers, $6,800, paired with Antonio Brown, who's $8,900 this week. The Steelers are at home versus Dallas as 2.5-point favorites in a game with a total set at 50 points. It's one of the highest totals of the week. And if I were to bet the over-under in this game, I would take the over. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. Ben looked bad last week in his first game off of his injury, but he has been great at times this year with 2 games over 33 DraftKings points. And at home, he's put up 21, 36, and 33 DraftKings points. And if you look back at his road and home splits, he always performs better at home. So I'm expecting a big game. It's the afternoon game. It's against Dallas. I think he should be up for a pretty big game. Antonio Brown needed garbage time to put up a good fantasy score last week, but he has put up 20 or more DraftKings points in 6 of his 8 games played this year, and I expect 20 or more this week against the Cowboys. So my second quarterback wide receiver stack here is going to be in the same game, and I'm going right back with Dak Prescott this week. He's $6,100 on DraftKings, and yeah, I'm going back with Dez Bryant, who's $7,000 on DraftKings this week. Even after he ruined a lot of my lineups last week, I think this will be a good contrarian stack. I don't think too many people will be on it. But like I said, I think this will be a high-scoring game, so I want both sides of the ball here. The Cowboys do have an implied team total of 24 points. Prescott has looked great in his rookie season and has scored 20 or more DraftKings points in 3 straight games heading into this game against Pittsburgh. The Steelers ranked 26th in yards against per play and 21st in yards against per pass attempt. So Dez did hurt me last week with just 1 catch for 19 yards on 4 targets, but I like the $400 price drop on DraftKings in a game that I expect will be a bit of a shootout. He has had 100+ yards in 2 of 5 games played this year, and I could see it happening again in Pittsburgh this week. My first running back of the week is going to be David Johnson from the Cardinals. He's $8,400 on DraftKings this week, easily the most expensive running back, and he'll be the highest owned. But he's someone I'm going to have in a lot of my tournament lineups. I just can't ignore the fact that he's facing the 49ers, who we'll talk about in a second. So like I said, they're at home versus the 49ers. They're 13.5-point favorites in a game with a total set at 48 points. So the Cardinals are expected to score quite a few points. The 49ers rank 27th in yards against per play and dead last in yards against per rushing attempt by a wide margin. And they've given up a 100-yard rusher in 7 straight games. So that's an NFL record. 7 straight games they've had someone rush for 100 yards against them. And David Johnson might be the best running back in the league. If not, he's top 3 for sure. He's scored 15 or more DraftKings points in every game this year and over 25 DraftKings points in half of his games. So if he can put up over 25 DraftKings points, which I think he will do this week, he's definitely worth that price, and I see no reason to fade him. If I was going to put in 10 lineups in a GPP, I would probably have him on at least 5, maybe closer to 7, and I wouldn't be against going all in on David Johnson, but I'll probably have him in about 50 to 60% of my lineups, I would guess. This wide receiver pick here is a bit of a sleeper play. Kenny Britt from the Rams. He's $4,900 on DraftKings. The Rams are at New York versus the Jets, and this game has a very low total set at 40 points, so I wouldn't want too much exposure to this game or any players in this game. But Kenny Britt is someone I would throw in a lineup. If I was doing 10 lineups, I'd maybe have him in 1 or 2 of them. Britt has been targeted 6 or more times in all but 1 game this year, and he has 12 or more DraftKings points in 4 of his last 5 games, which includes a game in Detroit with 35.6 DraftKings points, so he does have the upside. The Rams are 29th in rushing yards per attempt, and the Jets are 4th in rushing yards against per attempt, so I think Los Angeles could be forced to throw the ball quite a bit, and the Jets rank 22nd in yards against per pass attempt, so that could benefit someone like Kenny Britt, who's been playing well this year. And I think he'll be pretty low owned, so I think he would be a pretty solid sleeper play at wide receiver this week. My first tight end play of the week is going to be Tyler Eifert from the Bengals. He's $5,200 on DraftKings, and this is a Monday night play, so you're going to have to play him in the Thursday to Monday contest. The Bengals are at New York versus the Giants on Monday night with a total set at 47 points. Tyler Eifert played his first full game back from injury in Week 8 and had 9 catches on 12 targets for 102 yards and a touchdown. He was the 4th highest scoring tight end last year, averaging 16.2 DraftKings points per game, and the Giants are 18th in DraftKings points allowed to tight ends this year. So if I enter a couple of the Thursday contests, I'll definitely throw Tyler Eifert in at least a couple of them. And then we've got 4 more DraftKings and FanDuel NFL Week 10 picks, starting off with running back Darren Sproles, who's $4,300 this week on DraftKings. Over the last 2 games, Sproles has turned into the Eagles' lead running back with 15 and 13 rushing attempts. To add to that, he was also targeted 7 and 9 times the past 2 weeks, catching 3 and 5 balls, which can be valuable in DraftKings point per reception scoring. He'll be facing a Falcons defense that is slightly above average versus the run, but the Eagles do have an implied team total of 25 points, and I like Sproles' chances of finding the end zone and having a solid fantasy scoring day. So at that price, I think he's a pretty solid play this week. Next up, we've got another receiver. We've got Julian Edelman from the Patriots. He's $6,000 on both DraftKings and FanDuel, and I've got the star beside his FanDuel price because he's much cheaper on FanDuel compared to other receivers, so I would definitely play him if I was playing on FanDuel. The Patriots will host the Seahawks Sunday night, who will be playing in back-to-back primetime games after a win on Monday night versus the Bills. New England is favored by 7.5 points, and we've got a high total set at 49 points currently. Edelman has yet to have a breakout game, with his highest fantasy score being 15.2 DraftKings points, but he does have 13 or more in 4 of his 8 games played, and he's seen an average of over 8 targets per game with Brady under center. Look for Edelman to break out in primetime Sunday night. My second tight end play here, and probably my favorite for the Sunday only slate, is Delanie Walker from the Titans. He's $4,600 on DraftKings this week. The Titans will host the Packers on Sunday, and this is yet another expected high scoring game with a total at 49.5 points. Green Bay ranks 23rd in the NFL in passing yards against per attempt, and Walker has scored 21, 11, and 15 DraftKings points over his last 3 games and has double-digit DraftKings points in 5 of his 8 games played. So I expect another big game from Delanie Walker against the Packers. And then lastly, we have my value defense/special teams. We've got the Jaguars at $2,300 on DraftKings. Jacksonville is at home versus the Texans on Sunday with the low total set at 42.5 points. The Jags aren't my favorite defense overall on the slate, and I wouldn't have too much exposure to them, but at $2,300 on DraftKings, they will offer you some salary relief for your lineup. The Jags DST hasn't scored more than 9 DraftKings points all season, but they aren't an awful defense overall. They rank 6th in yards against per play, and they're going to be facing Brock Osweiler, who in 3 road games has thrown just 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. So Jacksonville is my favorite value DST option for Week 10. And that wraps up my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL Week 10 picks. If you guys want to win more money on DraftKings or FanDuel this year, I highly recommend you check out the Fantasy Labs tools. I'll leave a link to the Fantasy Labs in the YouTube description below so you can check them out if you don't already have an account. And if you enjoyed this video, please click that thumbs up or like button on YouTube. It will help support my YouTube channel and let me know that you want me to continue making videos like this. So as always, guys, good luck in your contest this week. Hope you make some money. Cheers. If you don't want to miss out on any videos that I post, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. To do that, just click on this button over here, Or if you want to watch another one of my videos that I think you'll enjoy, click on the video image over here.